Band of Brothers, written by Stephen Ambrose. In this book, Ambrose seeks to describe the famous battles of the Easy Company, 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment, 101st Airborne Division. Despite their name, the work of the men in the Easy Company was anything but that. Ambrose gives readers a deep insight into what life was really like for the soldiers in World War II, and how they were able to come together as one strong team and defeat their biggest enemies. Not only did Ambrose seek to show everyday life of the soldiers, he wanted to express the bond created between the soldiers and the company, how training and fighting together grew a connection closer than brotherhood. The book begins with the formation of the 2nd Battalion of the 506. But in order to be qualified as parachutists, they had to endure hard physical training. It was so difficult, many volunteers ended up dropping out. However, those who stayed grew together through the hardships and pain of training. The volunteers who stayed then went on to go to jump school at Fort Benning. In December of 1942, the soldiers were classified as parachutists and then sent to Britain to train for the invasion of Hitler's fortress Europa. Ambrose goes on to vividly describe the early hours of the morning of June 6, 1944, how the soldiers were so confused but focused on their mission, how they were surrounded by chaos of the day they had been training for months. Something Ambrose pays special attention to is Lieutenant Richard Winter's strong desire to succeed in this mission, but the likeliness of doing so being so low. As Ambrose states, by this time, about 0700, Easy Company consisted of 2 light machine guns, 1 bazooka with no ammunition, 1 60mm mortar, 9 riflemen, and 2 officers. This quote shows how hopeless it appeared the battalion was, and how defeated Lieutenant Winters felt. His only hope was to send Easy Company to attack and overrun a 4-gun German battery defended by a 50-man platoon. If the soldiers had been working as individuals, this would have been impossible. However, the Easy Company did not work as individuals. They worked as one unit, almost as if they had a single brain controlling the entire battalion of men. 3 hours after the Easy Company had begun the attack, they had won. The Easy Company continued fighting through Normandy until June 29th. They were then sent to a field camp near Utah Beach. The Easy Company went into this mission with 139 troops and officers, and left with 79. The book continues to describe the many battles that the Easy Company took part in, and how their strong connection and excellent teamwork allowed them to be successful in many battles that should have been too difficult for a small battalion like them to win. Ambrose puts the experiences of the Easy Company as this. The company had been born in July 1942 at Toccoa. Its existence essentially came into an end almost exactly 3 years later. In those 3 years, the men had seen more, endured more, and contributed more than most men can see, endure, or contribute in a lifetime. With this quote, Ambrose states his take on the experiences of the Easy Company, simply yet powerfully, creating a fuller picture for the readers without bogging it down with unnecessary information. Ambrose's thesis is this: through hardships and trials, a group of people will grow closer than family. This tight bond allows the group to perform at the best of their ability as one strong team, working as a unit as opposed to a group of individuals. He backs up this proposal through his story of the Easy Company. When the Easy Company first formed, the men were complete and total strangers. Through their grueling training to earn their status to go into combat, then the confusing, chaotic, and daunting battle at Normandy Beach on D-Day, the soldiers became so close they could take down a mass of German soldiers with superior weaponry and numbers, merely through their severe training and strength as a single unit, able to move together as one. Ambrose clearly organizes the story of the Easy Company and states how their story proves his thesis. Ambrose not only uses the story as a whole to support his thesis, but a great great deal of SFI throughout his book. He uses information about the exact forts and training centers the company stayed to back up how difficult the training was and the hardships the Easy Company went through. He goes on to use countless battles, such as the famed D-Day, to show how hard the soldiers in the Easy Company fought and how difficult the challenges they faced were, and their amazing victories. Band of Brothers is very well written, with powerful stories that captivate the reader and allows them to fully understand the experience of the Easy Company. He is eloquent in his presentation of his information and opinions. He clearly did very good research about the Easy Company and World War II as a whole to contextualize his information. Ambrose shows a clear bias towards the soldiers in the Easy Company, and a particular sympathy for Lieutenant Richard Winters at D-Day. He describes the difficulty of the training from a sympathetic point of view. He pays special attention to Lieutenant Winters' struggles on D-Day, and how the strength of the Easy Company relieved him of his worries. Ambrose includes a bibliography listing all his sources for his information and pictures. His sources are all reliable, scholarly sources. If I were researching the Easy Company, battalions that fought in World War II or fought specifically in D-Day, parachutists, or training of soldiers in World War II, I would definitely use Band of Brothers. It's full of good information on a vast number of subjects, with many examples, stories, and facts that would be quite useful in a research project. Even if you aren't doing a research for a project, Band of Brothers is a great read with vivid, powerful stories that will leave you wanting to learn more and more about World War II and the Easy Company. He also provides many pictures in this book that help you further visualize the story and put it into context. Even if you're not a history buff, Band of Brothers is a very interesting and captivating book for anyone who enjoys action or moving stories of the underdogs coming out the winners. HBO created a TV series out of Ambrose's book, Band of Brothers. The show documents the journey of the Easy Company, as written in Ambrose's book. The following video is a tribute made for the men who fought in the Easy Company, created from clips of the show. This video brings Ambrose's words to life, adding the experience of actually seeing it as opposed to imagining it in your head.
As soon as I heard winks, yeah, tell him guy. Nice knowing you. Hold your fire, boys. Let me draw you out. He was already a legend. Boys, what the hell we gotta get those things in water? Doc, it's gonna get busy, pal.
as I'm pacing the pews in a church corridor. And I can't help but to hear, no, I can't help but to hear an exchanging of words. What a beautiful wedding, what a beautiful wedding, says a bridesmaid to a waiter. Yes, but what a shame the poor groom's bride is a whore. I chime in with a haven't you people ever